providing plenty of fodder tonight for our political panel, from COVID-19 to gun reform to the border crisis. So let's bring in former Biden campaign surrogate Kevin Walling and the host of the Out Loud podcast, Gianno Caldwell. All right, guys, so the White House has said all week long that the number one goal for President Biden tonight is really to sell these multi-trillion-dollar spending packages that he's trying to push through Capitol Hill to the American people and, to some degree, to Republicans. So, Gianno, I'll start with you. How do you think President Biden did?
Well, it's unfortunate because it's hard to believe some of the things that he says, because he said he wanted bipartisanship in the very beginning, but we didn't see much of that. He said that he wasn't going to kill the Keystone Pipeline right away, but we saw $2 billion in wages go out the door literally days after he got into office, 11,000 jobs. So it's going to be very, very difficult for, I think, a lot of people to get on board and believe some of the things he said, especially when you're considering the fact that he wants to raise the corporate income tax rate to almost 30%. From 21%, and it was originally over 30% to begin with. And we know that when taxes go up, wages end up going down, as we've seen in the past. Most economists will tell you that as well. So, I mean, he had some decent tones in there, but at the end of the day, we've not really seen that on the left, where they were trying to unite as a country and work together with Republicans to get things passed.
Well, Gianno, since you bring up the corporate tax rate, one of the ways that President Biden is proposing to fund and pay for all these spending bills, let me just play a little clip as President Biden tried to make that case tonight. Watch this.
I'm not looking to punish anybody, but I will not add a tax burden, additional tax burden to the middle class in this country. They're already paying enough. I believe what I propose is fair, fiscally responsible, and it raises revenue to pay for the plans I propose and will create millions of jobs that will grow the economy.
So, Kevin, President Biden standing firm on raising the corporate tax rate, raising the tax on wealthy Americans. Do you think that there's room to negotiate on that?
Yeah, Kristin, it's a great question. And, of course, this is something that the president campaigned on when he was running for office. He detailed his American Families Plan and his American Jobs Plan with a way to pay for it. And the vast majority of Americans will not see any increase in their taxes if they make under $400,000 a year. That's the middle class. And as he said in the speech, it only affects a fraction of the top 1% of earners in this country. I thought it was a really compelling moment in the speech, too, Kristin, when he talked about the trillions of dollars that the 650 billionaires in this country made during the COVID-19 crisis, when, for example, he mentioned the 2 million women in this country that fell out of the workforce because of COVID-19, either losing their jobs or having to stay home and take care of their kids. So it's a really compelling argument, I think, that the president made. He's going to hit the road the rest of this week, touting this plan and selling it to the American people.
One of the other big focuses tonight was on China, and President Biden really making the case that China is America's number one enemy and not each other. Listen here.
We can't be so busy competing with one another that we forget the competition that we have with the rest of the world. He and others, autocrats, think that democracy can't compete in the 21st century with autocracies, because it takes too long to get consensus.
President Biden referring to Chinese President Xi Jinping there. Gianno, what did you make of that sort of line of attack against China from President Biden tonight?
It was surprising to hear 10% from the big guy criticizing China, I'll be honest. And you got to be even more honest if you want to really tackle the challenges in which China provide to us. And I'm talking about almost a $900 billion deficit, trading deficit with China. Then we're going to have to actually work on our tax rates and not increase them. I think even keeping them the same or lowering them would be better. And just to quickly respond to the guests on the other end who talked about the 2 million women who were put out of the workforce, that was in part due to so many of these large blue states shutting down their local economies, therefore putting women, men, and those who are young Americans out of the workforce. So we got to look at the complete picture when we talk about these issues, because COVID-19 was only made worse by the policies of the Democrats across the country.
But it wasn't just blue states, Gianno. It wasn't just blue states. It was across the board.
Kevin, really quick, I'd like to get your take on how you thought that President Biden handled China tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was a really compelling part of the speech. He kind of ad-libbed a bit in terms of his conversation with President Xi, because China is our #1 strategic competitor. And I think focusing a light on some of their human rights violations, some of their currency manipulation, could be a winning argument for the president to rally both Republicans and Democrats in support of some of his plans to stay competitive on the global stage.
All right, Gianno, Kevin, thank you both so much. President Biden's first joint address to Congress in the books. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
So Girl Scout cookies falling from heaven? And the moment a former police dog hears his new owner mention cocaine. Yeah, that's right. You have the right to stay tuned. The day's best viral videos. They're next.